theatrical release, you really did collaborate on how to present the movie to the public. As far what happens with the DVD, forget about the extras. You want it presented in a certain way. I remember when you were very clear on the kind of one sheet you thought would represent it, and it was right on the money. And it was, and we worked together on all of that. That helps in the afterlife of the movie.
Sure.
That it has a kind of focus on how you want people to enjoy the movie, or the context in which you want them to know what it is.
But I'm specifically talking about commentary and the idea of talking people through the movie. I mean, I understand the appeal of it, and I get it. It's interesting and gossipy and fun and stuff, but it seems like it's
Would you
not
like
the movie.
someone else talking about your movie on the commentary?
No, but what we did do, which was kind of a compromise that we made, was we had people who wrote positive reviews of the movie, and I kind of wanted to do both, but we didn't end up doing that, discussing it as one of the extras on the DVD. So we have some bloggers, actually, talking about it, and I'm not sure that was the right thing to do, but it seemed like it kind of was more benign than talking over the movie. You could watch it if you want. It's not an intrusive sort of thing, you know.
I guess I'll also say, like, to your point before, and to Michael's point about the evergreen nature of the movie, is that when the movie came out, it was the best reviews of my and I think Charlie's career, and the worst reviews of my and Charlie's career. It was absolutely, it was either a 5-star or a 1-star review, and it was incredibly polarizing, and it created enormous clutter around the kind of dialogue around the movie that over the last 2 years since the movie's come out has essentially, the way that I've seen it is that the haters have kind of gone on to hate something else, and the lovers are still there.
I want to talk about the haters for a second, okay? Charlie, I want to talk about the haters. I want to talk about them. I don't think they knew how to watch the movie. I think you have to know how to watch this movie. And I remember the first time we talked to Charlie, he said, well, I made this movie for people to enjoy this movie. And, you know, I've seen this movie about 20 times, and when you sit in a theater and people start to laugh at the beginning, you know you're going to be in good shape. But I've been in with an audience where they don't start to laugh. And you go, okay, we've got a problem here, because you've got people who are not sitting here just for a pleasant experience. They're already intellectualizing, or they're putting forcing a structure on it this movie is not going to accept. And in a lot of cases, I have to tell you, I've talked to 2 of the critics that intensely disliked the movie, one of whom was one of the worst. It was, well, his name was Rex Reed.
Rex Reed. Oh.
And
He called it, which he said was the worst film ever made.
Well, wait
No,
a
he
second.
called it a bucket of swill too in that review.
Yeah.
There was
Anyway.
another adjective
Not that we
in there.
dwell on it or anything.
Anyway, I believe critics like that, and not just critics, audiences as well, they don't even give the movie a chance after a certain amount of time. And that's where the context comes in, the work that we do to set up the context for people to see and enjoy the movie. Now, and I think, I have talked to people who've come around on the film. They've seen it again, or they've read something like what Roger's written. I mean, the value of great critics is like what Roger wrote or Manohla Dargis wrote about this film. Because, I mean, I have a film now called The Prophet. Manohla Dargis wrote this incredible review of A Prophet. And when I went to the theater to see A Prophet, the line was as long to line up to read her review after they saw it as lining up to go in to see the movie. Because a critic can explain things to you that can help the experience, whether it's after or sometimes even before.
But 2 great things about those reviews are that they're very personal.
Yeah.
And they don't over-intellectualize the movie, and they're brave reviews. Those 2 reviews you're talking about, I think those are 2 of the best reviews of the film, because they are so personal, and they let their guard down in how much this film means to them. And they're both really powerful essays, I think. And I think, you know, when you over-intellectualize something, you can ruin it. It's
Also, one of the reasons, and I just want to say this because we really haven't talked about the quality of the film. Last year we were here with Courtney Hunt, and you saw a great debut movie of someone whose talent was really going to blossom, and you could see it. The idea of watching this film and seeing it's a debut picture, I mean, this is a director who is fully mature in every aspect of filmmaking. I mean, I tell you, the music is incredible, the set design, the acting. I mean, he's one of the great directors of actresses. Look at those actresses and what they did on the screen. And that's Charlie.
I just want to also add what Michael said in that, you know, I sat for part of the movie. I sat out there, and I also was. It's when you've written something that gets laughs. It's very comforting to sit out there and hear people laugh, you know, and it's kind of an easy thing to sort of gauge whether or not it's working. But I've read online countless kind of arguments between people who think this isn't a comedy with people who think this is a comedy, you know, and I think that it's valid either way. That's, I guess, goes back to what I was saying before. It's like, if this movie doesn't make you laugh, but it affects you and horrifies you, or you know, brings you to some other kind of emotional state, I was intentionally trying to leave it open, you know, to those possibilities for people, and so it's an interesting thing to try to, you know, to have actors not play the comedy.
But that must be a lot harder, too, to be able to balance those two, you know, to have something that is comedic and confusing. I mean, Lars von Trier does the same thing, too, I think. He can be very funny and also very terrifying and moving. And I don't know how you feel about Lars von Trier, but he's someone who also polarizes people extremely. I like him, too.
Yeah.
Actually, he's the one that everyone hates right now with Antichrist. But, oh, no, don't clap for that. That's a good movie. Don't clap for the hate of that movie.